Welcome to another episode of Out of the Pods. I'm Deepti.
And I'm Natalie, and happy Monday. I know you're surprised because we're dropping an episode on Monday, but Deepti and I talked about this. I think we're going to stay on our Monday schedule till the end of the year. I don't know if this is a good thing for you guys or a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent.
Some pod besties are going to be happy. Some pod besties love that hump day episode.
Yeah, so
Today's a hat day for me. I literally got so lazy that I just didn't want to do my hair.
yeah, I didn't really do my makeup. It's that time like during the winter that I don't have the energy to do anything. And I don't really care like what I look like anymore. I'm at that age actually where I can walk out of the house just looking really bad.
Yeah.
Just like the worst I've ever looked. And I simply do not care.
You know, it's really funny because back in the day, I was living actually not too far from this building. And I remember I used to literally throw on like cute clothes and like put a tiny bit of makeup on just to even go downstairs and get like food deliveries or like do
Like in your
anything.
apartment building?
Yeah, just even if anybody sees me, I'm like very self-conscious about it. Now, zero Fs.
Yeah.
Like when I go down there the other day, I accidentally left my key in the apartment and I had to go down. Instead of my car, I had to go down. And I was like, no, I looked like trash. And, you know, I didn't really care that much.
I know, same.
Like,
even in my
it's
workout
bad.
classes, I used to like only wear dark workout sets, like black workout sets, because for anyone who works out really hard and gets really sweaty in their workout classes, like you sweat everywhere.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I get like the ass crack sweat and like, you know, the frontal where it looks like you peed your pants sweat.
Yes.
And I used to be so self-conscious about that. And now I was like, I don't care. I'm wearing my light blue workout set. And I don't care if you can see these sweat marks and it looks like I peed my pants. Like, I don't give an F.
No, I'm
Even if I have to walk the 20 minutes home and everyone sees me, like, I was like, I don't care.
yeah, should you? You just got out of a workout. But I'm the exact same way. Like after you work out, you know, like when you're doing the rower or something where it's like an actual seat, I get up off of it and I'm like, oh, that's sweaty. Usually I get so embarrassed by that, but I'm like, listen, we're all here working out.
My mindset is if I pay for a workout class and I'm not dripping in sweat after that class or even during that class, like it doesn't feel worth the money.
Yeah.
Like if I'm paying $25, $30, sometimes $40 for a workout class, I better be near death at the end. I better be literally soaking in my own sweat or I want a refund.
Hey, that's rude because the level of sweat you get is a personal experience. It's a personal journey.
For real, that's my mindset. It's a dangerous one to have, but it's fine. I don't know why we're so off topic right now, but look, yeah, I'm just in this era where I just don't care.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Give zero F's era.
Anyways,
Dude, can I just tell you about something that happened to me the other day? So
pod besties, I just want to put it out there. I have no idea what Deepti's about to say.
yeah, I actually purposefully didn't tell you the story. I just told you I had a story. So I need your authentic responses to this. Okay, so I've been driving back and forth from my parents' house a lot in the suburbs. So I'm sitting in traffic and for the life of me, I have no idea why I decided to go during prime traffic hour, but it was Thursday at like 3 p.m.
Yeah, that is when traffic hour starts in Chicago, which is the worst.
The worst, especially on a Thursday for some reason. It's just like diabolical.
Diabolical.
It's literally the worst. It's funny because when I used to work my corporate job, I used to drive and sit in traffic. I used to reverse commute into the suburbs every day, basically, except for...
Oh, you worked in the suburbs?
Yeah, I worked in the suburbs and then lived here. So I reverse commuted 3 times a week.
I did not know that.
Yes. So
That's
was
tough.
Which it's funny because now when I sit in traffic once in a while, I'm like freaking out.
Yeah.
But I used to do that so often. So you would think I've been used to it. But anyway, so I'm driving and it's bumper to bumper traffic and you kind of can see people obviously in front of you, next to you, right? Like you can actually see the passengers because you're going so slow. And one of the drivers in front of me kept like, you know, when you're behind the worst driver and they like will speed up really fast and then brake. And then this guy was annoying the shit out of me. And I was like, I have to move lanes. So I kept like trying to move into different lanes, but the dude kept following me into the lanes.
Like he was now behind you?
He like at one point he was behind me. So this entire thing, we're probably 40 minutes on this drive. We're doing like this piggyback or like this seesaw of like me being in front and then him being behind me. Like he's like following me literally.
Oh.
And at one point, oh my God, this is so scary. But at one point, okay, you're in a 4-lane highway and there's merging traffic from like a 5th lane. So in my head, I'm like, I need to just like get away from this dude. So I went into that 5th lane where people merge. And so I could just like drive to the very front of the traffic and merge up there. As soon as I put my turn signal on, I could see like I was about to turn in and he sped like in front of me and just went in front of me and like basically cut me off. It was the scariest thing ever. Like I was like, is this man about to follow me? Like I'm terrified.
When oh my gosh, why are people like that on the road? I feel like drivers who do those sort of things and have like road rage, like they're the craziest.
No, it was really freaky. The fact that every single move I made, he was like making the same move or like trying to stay close to my car. I was honestly so scared to the point where I took the wrong exit just so I was like, I don't want this dude following me. And so since he was in front of me at one point, I just waited for him to pass the exit and then I just took the random exit and just left because I was like actually terrified.
Maybe he was a pod best and he goes, hey, I have a question about one of your episodes.
He's like, hey, I need you to talk about this.
He goes, hey, I'm trying to.
You guys always talk about women, but I listen. And he's goes, like the man.
I support Hannah. Yeah. You guys are wrong about her.
No, that would be.
And you're like, oh.
What a sick joke. I feel like during the situation, I swear I was gaslighting myself because I was like, is this in my head? Like, am I just going crazy? I almost like pulled out my phone to record it, but I was like, let's just not do that. He's acting so erratic that I don't even know. Like, I don't want to get into a crash with this person.
Oh my goodness. I would take my phone out.
Dude.
I'd be like, I'm putting you on my Instagram stories.
You don't know me. And he's like, yes, I do know you actually.
Like, no, it's just me. I have a question.
But like he would even brake check me sometimes too.
Oh, I hate that.
And like that's how it started. And I was just like, this is weird. And you know, when you're looking in front of you, you can see their rear view mirror and you can see their reflection in the rear view mirror. I was just like, this guy is kind of scaring me. Like when you see the eyes, I'm just like, what is happening? I'm like, do you see me?
Like, do you think he got mad because initially you were trying to move from behind him? Like, do you think he saw that and was like, I'm gonna piss this girl off?
Maybe. That's the thing is like, I have no idea because you know when you're driving, especially in traffic, you kind of like tune out the world. I was in my happy true crime junkies world and all of a sudden I look up and I'm like, what the hell? Because it's very annoying when somebody is driving in traffic and they're just like speeding and stopping, speeding and stopping. I'm like, you're annoying the crap out of me.
I feel so mad like for you. Like that pisses me off that someone did that to you.
No, I know. I had road rage. I was like, what the fuck? And I normally have road rage in general.
But here's the thing. Your road rage is silent. You say something like, oh my gosh, because I've driven with you, right? So like Deep D will say like, oh, I can't believe they did that and just like move on. That's her road rage.
Okay. But can I also tell you, I do get... you know, because you're in the car, I hide it pretty well. But if I'm by myself, I will fucking scream in the car. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Go! And then I'll sit there and be like, oh, watch this be a cute little grandma in the beginning. Like, I drive by her and she's like the sweetest old grandma.
Wait,
and I'm like, oh,
no. I've done that. So this is something that made me cry several years ago now, where I passed an older gentleman who was going like 20 miles per hour below the speed limit. And as I'm passing him, I look at him, giving him like the eye of like, hey, you're going slow and holding up traffic. And he looks at me and waves at me. And I had to stop and like, I just burst into tears because I was like, I'm a bitch.
No,
I suck.
Dude, I've had so many of those moments.
Can I ask you something? Okay, so one of my former partners had really bad road rage. I think it's one thing to get mad on the road and just be like, what the heck? And there's another thing where you start a fight on the road with another driver.
Yes.
And you roll down the window and you like start screaming at them. Yes. I dated someone like that. And it gave me like the biggest ick.
I hate that. Where they're so reactive.
Don't but straight up like yelling at other drivers on the road.
No, I don't like that at all.
Like he loved like rolling down his window and literally yelling at drivers. And sometimes I'd be like, oh my God. It's like,
I think there's definitely certain situations that warrant it, where if it's like a passenger, I'll see this all the time when I'm driving, where a passenger will get super pissed because a car takes a right when it's their right of way to walk.
Yeah.
And they like literally scream at the car. You at Homer Simpson.
When Homer Simpson went at me and called me a whore. And I was like,
Yep.
excuse me?
That's exactly it. Like there's certain situations where it's warranted, but
No, that was not warranted. It was my right of way. I just want to put it out there.
No, I'm saying your yelling is warranted.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I guess that was pedestrian rage.
That was pedestrian rage. I feel like we see that a lot in the city. If I'm a pedestrian,
like, excuse me, like I rule the road.
Pedestrians should rule the road when they're walking. I agree. In my opinion, I think pedestrians should rule.
Yeah, but some pedestrians, like sometimes me, get a little bit cocky, and we're like, did you really try to turn in here, even though there's like no one there? I'd be like, so, excuse me.
I know, isn't that funny how in the moment we get so heated,
like,
and then you sit down, I'm like, who do I think I am? Like, chill out. Like, really did 5 seconds of your life
like I'm
waiting.
The judgiest pedestrian. I'm like, I'll look at other cars and be like, this man doesn't know how to drive.
Yeah, when I'm walking, I'm a very crazy pedestrian and I hate cars, but when I'm in my car, I hate pedestrians and bikers.
And no, same.
In the city, I'm like, are you kidding me? Just please get out of my way.
But then when I'm a pedestrian, I'm like,
yeah,
you have to stop for me, ma'am.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
I'm like, do you not see me jaywalking right now?
You're like, I know I'm jaywalking, but it's my right of way.
I heard that in New York City, jaywalking is legal now.
Is legal?
Yeah.
I feel like jaywalking is actually legal everywhere.
Podbesties fact check me on that. I think I saw that somewhere, but I did not Google to confirm the source.
Even in Chicago, I'm not a big jaywalker, but I will see people jaywalking in front of police cars.
Oh.
And like, no one's going to do anything.
Are you kidding me? Not in the city of Chicago. It's like so scary here. They're not worried about jaywalkers.
That was like, that's the least criminal thing you can do. Okay?
100%. Once in a while, you'll get a police officer just, in a great mood, and he's really just looking to get you. But anyway, stay vigilant on the road, friends. If you're listening to this podcast episode on the road, don't yell at old people. And also stay vigilant.
And don't let anyone scare you off that road.
Just take another exit.
Just take another exit out. Pod Besties, why am I so excited for this? So this podcast is sponsored by Essie Nail Polish. This is my tried and true go-to nail polish. So Essie's Ballet Slippers has been my holy grail nail polish color for 10 years. Wait, I'm actually wearing it right now, which is actually kind of funny. You can even see me wearing this color in my confessional interviews throughout season 2 of the show. And you guys know I rarely go to the nail salon because I feel like when you have high quality nail polish, you just don't need to go. And what I love about Essie is they have a color for every mood, event, trend. So I really like neutral pinkish aesthetics, hence why I love Ballet Slippers so much. And Essie has so many great neutral and pinkish colors.
Let me show everyone the colors I got for the holidays this year. These are going to make such great stocking stuffers and gift toppers for friends and family. I love these Essie nail polish colors because I know my friends and they love to be festive during the holidays. And these are the most beautiful shades of red and green. You can shop Essie nail polish for the holidays in store, Target, Ulta, CVS, all the stores you've already been shopping at, and online at your preferred Essie retailer.
We had a Pod Bestie send us something that I actually want to discuss with you because I thought it was really interesting. So, you know how last week we said how Hannah and Marissa from Love is Blind season 7, they're no longer friends. And supposedly Hannah and Katie also had a falling out. Well, it looks like things have changed. So some Pod Bestie sent us this in our DMs on Instagram of a TikTok and some Instagram stories where it looks like Hannah and Marissa hung out recently after the reunion.
Okay. Interesting.
So I think the assumption was that they're now friends again. And there was a lot of comments about how Marissa is such a flip-flopper. Like, why is she friends with Hannah again? This is why Marissa's mom is so protective of Marissa because she can't make up her mind. This is why Ramses, dumped Marissa, all this stuff. Just saying that it just shows how crazy Marissa is. But as someone who is really surprised too, looking at the TikTok, don't you kind of understand?
I absolutely understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I don't think anybody on this planet knows what the Love is Blind experience is except for past castmates, because just there's no way to like help people see what we've been through. Yeah, we can like share feelings and tidbits, but there are certain parts and layers of friendships and just the experience in itself. Like, it's really hard to like relate to that unless you've been through it.
Yeah.
And I think this is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, I think LIB friendships are really complex.
Mm-hmm.
As people who, of course, have friendships through the show,
Mm-hmm.
have had friendships go through ups and downs from the show. Like when I think about our friendships with the broader cast of our season.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I remember when our season was premiering, I would get some questions about Mallory and Danielle in like interviews I did with media outlets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of them were ever published because I gave very like vague, like just kind of boring answers.
I feel
to
like
them.
you and I always tried to stay out of the drama as much as possible.
Yeah, we're always like, not sure, sorry.
You had your own drama to deal with, and I had mine too.
But I was like, I never muddled in anyone else's like storylines or
No.
like answered really any questions about their storylines.
No.
But I remember I would get a lot about Mallory and Danielle because Mallory got, I think, a little bit of a more negative edit
Mm-hmm.
In her relationship with Sal. But I get questions about her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard to not respond in a way that kind of fit what everyone was thinking about her.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Just like how Marissa kind of backtracks because of the backlash she got at the reunion.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, especially the women, they all have a bond.
Yeah.
If the women were friends during filming like we were, and again, none of us were really close, but we all relied on each other heavily just for like emotional support and be like, do you feel this?
Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling this pressure?
Yeah.
Like, are you confused as well? Like things like that.
Yeah.
Like obviously the people filming with you understand.
Yeah, because they're going to the exact same thing at the exact same time. So
Exactly.
who else to relate better to than the people around you?
So I was like, I'm just not surprised that, you know, they still are friends, even though Marissa says they're not really friends.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to note that this time period in their life is actually very intense. I think back to our experience, and right after the show wrapped airing, it was really tough to kind of get back into your normal life.
Yeah.
Because you have such heightened emotions and you're kind of like still coming down from the high that was the show. Plus, there's still a ton of people having opinions on your life, and it's coming through to you on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So it's really tough to navigate those feelings, and it's easy to kind of come back to the people that were there with you when all of that went down, you know? And that's
Yeah.
why I think she probably gravitates towards Hannah, because they've been through a lot together and there's a bond there.
And I bet when Marissa was getting backlash after the reunion episode,
Mm-hmm.
who better knows what that feels like and how to deal with that than Hannah?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she was really getting backlash for the entirety of her season. So I was
Mhm.
like, I'm sure there was a bond there. So, and I think, especially reality TV show friendships, they're really complicated in the fact that, like, yes, you have so many people's opinions involved and you have to respond to things publicly of like what's happening within that friendship sometimes. But like friendships can be repaired and like apologies can be said behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like not everyone knows like the full picture of like what happened when they met up.
Yeah.
Like Hannah could have fully apologized and they decide to create content together. Like
I know.
who knows?
And also there's that whole aspect of like, you see and hear one thing when you're filming the show, but to watch it back and to see your friend kind of not behave the way you would want a friend to behave, I think is also really tough. So I feel for Marissa because I'm sure she's torn between, oh my gosh, this is what I saw you do on television. This is how people are reacting to it. But I also have your back. But at the same time, I don't agree with some of the things you've said. So it's like, look at all those whirlwind of emotions she's probably feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think about though like how all the friendships from our season really changed.
Mhm.
So the entire broader cast, so the 15 women and 15 men from our season, so like even the cast members viewers did not see on our show, we were all really, really close. Like there were a lot of parties that happened with all of us being invited. For the most part, like everyone was close and we would have like meetups together and all this stuff. And then the show came out and you know, start seeing things on the show, and then more drama happens as the show is airing between cast members. And like an example, me and Shane's very tumultuous online relationship as the show was airing. That it had an impact on the dynamics of like the broader cast and hangouts. And it's so crazy how when the show airs, it really does change friendships.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
And also, you just don't even have the emotional capacity sometimes to continue doing those social things that you were doing before. I honestly do think after filming Wrap to the time right before the show aired was such a fun time in my life.
So fun.
We were in like this great bubble. We were, like you said, we were hanging out with everyone. I literally spent like Thanksgivings. We had Friendsgiving. We had Christmas. I spent New Year's with people from the show. Like, had a New Year's kiss from people from the show. I was kidding. But anyways.
Can I guess who?
So like there's so much that
it was
happened. Could you imagine? And that's why we're best friends today. We relate.
We really are sisters with that Shane bond. We kissed the same lips. It's like we kissed each other. I'm just kidding. I just want to clarify, she did not kiss Shane.
No, please don't come for me. I did not. I have loyalty. I'm a girl's girl, okay? But no, that bubble though, when we were all hanging out was so much fun. There was no hate, there was no drama.
Because we had no idea like what had happened on the show.
Yeah, that life would literally change.
Guys, I even went to a cabin with Shake and other people from the cast. I didn't really like Shake after filming. Shane had told me some things that Shake was saying behind the scenes. So I was like very wary of Shake. But Shake at the time was very apologetic.
Yeah,
like
he's also charismatic.
Yeah, like when we confronted him about the things that he said, he goes, I'm really sorry. Like, I didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. And then obviously backtracked when the show came out and he goes, I didn't say these things, or like, I meant them. Like, he doubled down or denied it. So that's kind of where I feel like his relationships crumbled with everyone.
Yeah.
But before the show came out, like a lot of the things that happened during filming kind of were cleared, like resolved. Like people were like, oh,
Yeah. And even
it's all good.
Even me, who had like a tumultuous time with Shake, I think I still like hung out with him and was good friends with him.
Because he acts like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like what you realize later, it's all show. Like I knew though the reason he was doing that was because he wanted to keep me in his good graces until the show aired. But I stopped hanging out with him after this one time. Oh my gosh. So I don't think I've ever told this story. 1 month after filming had wrapped, I was still like pretty friendly with Shake because I was like, okay, we built a friendship out of this at least. It doesn't have to be romantic, yada, yada. But
like, let's move on from what happened. No hard feelings.
Exactly. Yeah. And he was like, I think even dating at this time. Anyways, right before Lollapalooza, we had a pregame at one of Shake's friends' like penthouses. I ended up leaving that pregame with Shake.
It was just the two of you?
It was just the two of us.
Okay.
But anyways, we're in the crowd and we're just like dancing, whatever, chill. He looks over at me, Natalie. I'm so dead. And he goes, hey, so I think I'm going to get going because I want to beat the traffic. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's not asking me to come with him. He's just like, I'm going to leave. And we're there by ourselves together at a music festival.
And this is a huge music festival.
It's huge.
Like Lollapalooza is what? Like thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and the crowds are huge. I can't believe he did that.
No, isn't that?
I remember hearing about it at the time and being like, what is wrong with this guy?
I was flabbergasted. And I remember just being like, some sort of like empowerment came over me. And I was like, I'm a badass independent bitch. Like, I do not need this man to be with me. I've always been hyper independent, but I was just like, yeah, okay, go. See you later. And like, I just gave him like one of those little half hugs and I was like, see you later. I didn't even like question it. I was like, can I come with you? Like, you're just going to leave me here? I was just like, yeah, go.
The fact he didn't offer like, hey, like we should go, or I want to get out of here, and he just left you there. I remember hearing about this through Shane and being like, what is up with this man? But I do remember some of the cast members went to Danielle's mom's house, which is this like cabin-like home near a lake here in Illinois. And we went for a weekend and Shake was invited. We obviously opened the invite to like everyone on the cast. Like we weren't, like our group wasn't the type to just like not include people.
Yeah, and I didn't end up going because Shake was going.
Yeah. So Shake was there and obviously everyone was cordial, but I do recall Shake was taking so much content. And like no one's going to say I'm not taking a picture with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like and no one's
That's
mind
awkward.
is going like, "Oh, he's saving this for when the show airs."
Yeah, no one put those details together until later.
Yeah, no one like we weren't thinking that. So we all took like group pictures, blah blah blah. Never posted those photos, never saw them again until the show aired.
Yeah.
And he used it as like I'm cool with everyone. Everyone turned against me when our season came out. Here are photos to prove it. And I was like, Shake, what the heck? I don't know. It's crazy. Like how, I don't know, like friendships can change and like dynamics can change.
Yeah, totally.
And we were never okay with Shake. But I think what happened is like no one was ever going to be mean. Like that's not in our personality. Like everyone was going to be cordial. And we actually thought he was really apologetic for his behavior and the way he treated people during filming that never made it on the show. But then when he doubled down as the show was airing, I think that's where the tide changed where we're like, okay, we're not friends with you. Like, why are you doubling down? So,
yeah. I think the whole point of talking about all of this is not to shit on anyone, but it's to say like you said, the dynamics of friendships change so much over the course of filming to honestly till reunion. And then after that, there's so much social media action that comes into play. So I think we of all people are very empathetic to the fact that, you know, it's okay to change your mind and talk to people and figure out where you fit in with your friend groups.
Yeah. If you wanted to know what socks I'm wearing in today's episode, they are from Heat Holders. They're the warmest thermal socks. I wear them all winter long because my feet get so cold, even in my own apartment. I don't know, maybe I just don't have enough blood flow. Who knows? But they are so great. I also like to give them as gifts to my family as well. Also, I didn't know this until recently, but they also have much more than socks. They've got the warmest, softest, and most comfortable hats, gloves, and more. And I would know because I also have their gloves.
Personally, I'm obsessed with their blankets. They're so cozy and perfect for these chilly fall nights. They also make jackets and fleece vests that keep you warm no matter what the weather is. I am definitely taking my Heat Holders jacket with me to Colorado in a few weeks. And their base layers are a game changer. They come in 3 levels of warmth: original, light, and ultralights.
Yes, I love their ultralight stuff. So just like a thermostat, choose what you need for whatever cold you're facing. And you don't need to take my word for it. With over 40,000 5-star reviews, it's clear that people everywhere are loving Heat Holders. Head over to heatholders.com.
That's heatholders.com. Use the code OUTOFTHEPODS at checkout to get 15% off your entire order. And don't forget, shipping is free with any purchase over $25.
Stay warm this winter with Heat Holders. Heat Holders, making life warmer. Also, I will say for Deepti and I, it's been 2 years since our season aired. And also our friendships have fully changed as well. Like it's an ever evolving cycle of friendship that you have with people from either the main cast or the broader cast. And I'm closest with you and Ayana, but there was a time where like the 5 women from the main cast from our season were really, really close. And we've been honest, like it's not always the case. Even though there's no hard feelings, I think it just naturally like those friendships changed. And you kind of see that with other seasons. Like think about season 3 where those women were really close. But if you really look at their social medias, you could tell there's now, some cast members that stayed close and, some friendships that broke down. So it's very natural for that to happen. But it is kind of sad, but also sometimes surprising how quickly dynamics can change. I also want to say something else about those friendships where like jealousy and envy is involved. And it kind of relates to what Sydney Sweeney said in Vanity Fair's Hollywood issue that came out a few weeks ago. So she says that Hollywood's women empowering other women attitude is fake.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I saw the title to this article and it stopped me in my tracks because I was like, this is so real. But okay, tell me more about this.
So she says this entire industry, all people say is women empowering other women. None of it's happening. She also says, all of it is fake and a front for all the other shit that they say behind everyone's back.
Ooh, who pissed her off?
Well, there was an incident, I think this was like several months ago, where
Mhm.
Carol Baum, so she's a veteran Hollywood producer, at some screening event, Carol said about Sweeney, there's an actress who everybody loves now, Sydney Sweeney. I don't get Sydney Sweeney. Like essentially saying that Sydney Sweeney's not a good actress.
Yeah.
And I remember Sydney Sweeney's like representative or someone at the time like responded being like, you know,
Like,
why?
why?
Yeah, why was this said? Like,
yeah.
you know, pretty much saying like, why are these veteran and successful women in the industry pretty much putting down like other
Mhm.
women?
Yeah, that's actually, I think we see that so often. And like, forget Hollywood. Like, I think we see it in our own inner circles sometimes too.
Yeah.
That's what exactly why. And this may be like a fault in me, I don't know. But like, I only share certain good news or certain like plans for the future or my goals with very select few people, because I think that jealousy and envy is very profound in this society. And I don't know, I just feel like the evil eye is there, if that makes sense. And so I can only
Totally.
imagine when you're so famous and you have so many eyes on you, a lot of people want to see your downfall.
Yeah. And like, who do you trust? Like, and who makes up your inner circle? The reason why I bring this up is because going back to LIB friendships and just reality TV friendships, and also this kind of expands to like now being part of this influencer world, like you and I here in Chicago, and meeting other content creators and influencers who are mostly women
Mhm.
that we have met. And there is so much jealousy and envy. And it was something I wasn't used to because I feel like with my friend group
Yeah.
and their friends, and also, you know, like women I worked with, like I never felt that sort of jealousy or envy.
Yeah.
But after the show aired, and then follower counts became a thing, and attention on social media and all this stuff, it became a very real thing in our reality TV friendships,
Mhm.
along with like influencer friendships.
Yeah.
I was actually really shocked by it.
No, it's interesting because I feel like I've had certain levels of exposure to hateful people in my life, especially like going through what I did in my childhood with bullying, and also just having my own best friend at the time kind of shitting on me. So
Yeah.
I think I was like a little bit exposed to it. But when the show came out and like obviously we were at the height of our popularity, I think that
Our
was
Z-list popularity.
Yeah. Let's make it known, the Z. Did you say Z or C?
I said Z.
Yep, Z is the word.
Is there
letter.
anything past Z?
Yeah.
Like -10 popularity?
Yeah. I think that's when you're right. It kicked in so much more
In
for
our
me.
small little bubble. Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. And like I would often find myself comparing myself to other people around me. And that was something that really had to I had to take a step back and be like, oh my gosh, you cannot be this person again. You kind of get like brought back down to that world that you previously were and that you think you healed from, you know, it kind of opens those wounds up again. But the influencer world is very cutthroat.
When it comes to envy and jealousy.
100%. And
Yeah.
that's exactly why when I moved to LA for a month, so I shouldn't say moved, when I had a little stint in LA, the smallest of stints, I would go to like certain events and I would feel so out of place.
Really?
So out of place because no one's connecting. They're just engaging with their phone and getting content, like looking cute, whatever, which is totally fine. That's what you're there for. It's a job. But at the same time, you lack that connection with people and that authenticity of why you would make friends. Like, I don't want to be friends with half of the people that I went to those events with because it's just cutthroat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Midwestern in me.
And I'm not saying every like influencer or like people who do reality TV, like it's like this.
Mhm.
I have friends, obviously, in the reality TV space. Deepti and I both do. And we have friends, new friends who are influencers that we met at influencer events, and they're so fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you start listening in on conversations, when you start hearing about gossip in these groups, you realize it's always like a woman against another woman. And it has to do with
Mhm.
something like bringing them down, even though everyone, you know, acts on social media like they all support each other. And that was just shocking for me to experience. I also feel like I'm someone, and I don't think that this is always a good thing. I don't get jealous or envious easily because I'm not competitive.
Mhm.
And I think it comes from this mindset of like, oh, they have it because they put in the work and like they're better than me. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't care. Like I always say like, I'm too lazy a person. I could have never achieved that. So it like gets rid of the envy and jealousy.
See, I
I'm
think
like,
for me, it's not as much jealousy or envy. You're right. It's more insecurities because you're like, oh my gosh, this person is perfect. Like, and then you self-reflect and you're like, oh my gosh, I will never be that person. So it's like those types of daunting thoughts in my own head. But yeah, we're working through those.
Yeah. But you know me, I think because I think too like realistically about myself, I'm like, it's unachievable for me anyways. I'm good. I was like, I love sitting on my own couch and just like, and like dressing like, you know, just really badly.
Yeah. You know what? As Dr. Seuss says, there's no one youer than you. So you shouldn't try to be anyone else.
And me is the you that like sitting on the couch and wearing the same sweats for 7 days.
Speaking of, you look like a golfer. Like you're about to go golfing today, by the way.
Excuse me?
No, you literally, you look like you're about to go to a tea time after this episode.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I've been wearing this.
Is this linen?
It's polyester.
Oh.
It's a little itchy. It was only like $20, so I'm like,
It's cute. I like it. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. This month is all about gratitude, especially with Thanksgiving coming up, and it's a good time to tell your loved ones how thankful you are for them. Every time I see my parents, I am reminded of how much gratitude I have for them for simply existing and being my guiding light. And this is also a reminder to thank ourselves. We are trying our best to make sense of everything, especially in this crazy world, and it is not easy.
I think therapy has really helped me with that, with building my self-confidence and just being super grateful that I've gotten myself this far. I try to give myself a lot of grace and love, and I thank myself for just trying my best. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and is designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/outofthepods today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/outofthepods. I will say one thing, and this is kind of revealing about reality TV friendships, is there's actually two people from the Love is Blind franchise who marketed themselves as best friends. Like they were like, we're best friends. And I was talking to one of them and they're like, oh, I actually had a falling out. Like she goes, I think fame got, you know, too much in her head and she kind of like dropped me. So they're no longer friends. And I was like, wait, that's so crazy because you guys would make content together. You talked about how you'd be best friends forever. And literally, it was just the fact that one of them thought she was better than the other one after she got more attention and fame from the show. And then that was it. That kind of shows like sometimes the friendships in this space can be really shallow. And I think we were very lucky because we built a very, very deep, vulnerable bond along with Ayana and I as well, like before, you know, you and I started this podcast or anything like that. So I don't think it's as common as people think it is.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting how friendships can fade over time. But in my opinion, I really do think that, you know, when paths go certain, like in different ways, that person is just no longer in the same vibrational field as you anymore. Like I found this recently too, is like there's certain friendships that I feel like I've outgrown sometimes because I feel like I'm on this like healed journey or like, I don't know, I just see life differently because of the things that have happened to me. And sometimes like your old friends just don't fit into that like bubble anymore, which is totally fine because I think you were supposed to have those friends when you needed them. But as life moves on and you get families or you meet new people, it's like, it's just, it just happens. That's just life. And you just have to be like, take it for what it is, you know? And I had the best time, but we're just no longer vibing in the way that we should be. And it's just time to move on, you know?
And there's such thing as toxic friends when you were friends with someone because you were both toxic. And now one of you isn't toxic anymore and you got to move on, you know?
You got to let that friend go who's slashing tires with you.
Yeah, I think that's okay. I mean, again, it's always about like quality friends over quantity friends.
Yes.
When I was younger, like in my early 20s, I think I like was super grateful that I had so many friends. Like I was like, I feel like I have like 30 best friends. And then now at this age, I was like, I really only have like 5 to 7 best friends, which is actually a lot at this age.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
Yes.
But I'm like, I'm so grateful that like my group is smaller and the people I trust is smaller, and that's okay.
Yeah. Isn't that so funny? Okay, I went from like basically no friends in high school. Like I had a very small circle. And then in college, I was a crazy partier. Like I was wildin'. So, you know, you just meet so many people and you're like
in the bathrooms and you're like, oh my God.
I'm like, oh,
you should hang out, girl.
But and I felt like I was like, oh my gosh, look at me. I'm not even in a sorority and I have so many sorority friends.
Yeah.
Like I was in such a crazy bubble of like, oh my gosh, like having these many friends is so cool, but not one of those people actually cared about me. Like those are party friends.
You graduate from college and you never speak to them again.
Never. And I'm like, oh, I still follow them though. I'm glad that she just had a baby.
They're like, wow, they have like 5 kids now. I was like, I had no idea.
You know, I sometimes think about this. I'm like, I would just be so curious to hear from the friends that I had in college to be like, okay, they probably heard that I was on Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Like, I just would love 100%. To know what their thoughts are.
No, I remember when our season came out, I would get texts from friends I hadn't talked to for 10 years, like since I was in college. And they were like, it's so crazy that you used to like, you know, the last time I saw you were blacked out at this party and look at you now. You're on this show.
That is the most relatable thing I've heard.
I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I hope you're doing well too.
Yes, that is so, oh my gosh, yes. Or like the people just come out of the woodworks who I used to be best friends with back then. And they're like, oh my gosh, I have like 3 kids now. And we were watching you on Love is Blind. And I'm like, please tell
they're
me.
Like, you're still single?
Yeah, they're like, so did you get married? No.
Actually, I had an ex who reached out to me and he reached out to me when the episodes where it looks like Shane and I are going to get married, like we're doing really well. And he goes, congratulations. I'm so glad you found love. I mean, obviously I couldn't say anything. And I go, thank you.
You're like, thanks. I'm living the happiest life.
And he's like married and he goes, you know, like my wife and I were like, are really rooting for you. And he goes, I'm so glad you found someone. Blah, blah, blah.
Man.
And I was like, thank you so much.
I would love to know what college deeps and college nats would be like together.
I was wild.
Shit show. Is that because you had a more conservative upbringing?
My dad let me get away with everything.
Okay, see, I'm different.
My dad was a super understanding parent. He let me live my best life when I was in high school.
I could see that.
I would sneak out and my dad absolutely knew. And he'd just be like, oh, call me if you need a ride home at like 2 a.m. Like, and I was never punished, but I think it was more like he never wanted me to like sneak around them or ever feel like I couldn't come to them for everything. He's like, if I don't get mad at her, I will always get a call at 2 a.m. if Natalie wants me to pick her up so that she's safe.
Oh, that's
you know what
so
I'm
nice.
saying? That was his parenting philosophy. But I wasn't a bad kid like in high school. Like I maybe snuck out like twice.
Yeah.
You know? Like
I didn't even drink alcohol until like prom night for the first time ever. I was like, what is alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm with you, but I was all very sheltered as a child.
But in college, I was way likable than I am now. And so I just had a lot of friends and I was invited to like a lot of parties. I was also in a sorority. And so I think it just allowed me to have this really fun life.
Yes.
And I embraced it fully. Like I never did anything crazy, but were there some nights I got drunker than I should have? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And was I swaying a little bit?
I have the funniest story for you. And I know I always preface every funny story like this, but just a quick fun story. Obviously, I did not know what to do with myself after I went to college because I was like, oh my God, like no one's telling me I need to be home at 9 p.m. Like this is wonderful. Anyways, my freshman year, U of I has like the best Halloween parties. And so I decided to go visit my friend for Halloween. And Natalie, this is so bad. But I went to a fraternity party, and as I was making out with this guy, and as I was making out with him, I butt dialed my mom. Criminal. Could you imagine?
That stuff doesn't fly in an Asian household, let me tell you.
My Indian mom, like, could you imagine? She freaked out. I didn't even know because I was so drunk.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting calls on calls. I'm like, what the hell is happening? And it was.
And you're like, decline.
Can I just tell you the funniest part about this? This is so embarrassing for me, but the guy that I was making out with was a mime. So I had
like he was dressed as a mime.
Yeah, he was So I had white paint all over my face. I was like, my friends found me because I was like, where are my friends? Like, my mom is calling me. And so I walk out and my friends are like, what the fuck happened to you? You literally just have white paint all over you. I was like, besides the problem right now, like my mom is calling me. So I answer, I'm like, hi, Mom. And she's like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? Like, you just butt dialed me. And I was like, no worries. Like, I was just at a Halloween party. Like, we're all good.
Just all girls.
Oh, literally, you know. I was like, all women.
All women. And there's only 5 of us.
This lady, aka my mother, she was not having it. She's like, she knew I was drunk. And so she got in the car with my dad and went to come pick me up at my school, which I was not at. So
because how far was your school from U of I?
So it's an hour and a half. So Bloomington, where we used to live, is in the middle of
so they went
Peoria.
The other way.
And yeah, so they went the other way. And they're like, we're here right now. Like, come out. You're coming home for the weekend. And I was freaking out. And I was like, I'm at U of I. And this is the funniest part of the whole story. So they drove all the way to U of I, picked me up. I laid down in the back seat the entire time, didn't speak a word.
Did you have the white paint on your face?
No, I took it off. Could you imagine?
Be like, what happened here?
I was like, don't worry about it. It's just some chalk. So then the next morning, my dad did not say a word to me. All he said was, what time do you want to go back to your school? And I was like, now. And he drove me back to school. Not one word was said, and we never spoke about it ever again.
That's disappointment. That's the worst type of parental reaction. Yes. Is not when you're getting yelled at, but when they have nothing to say to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, they're not mad. They're severely disappointed in me.
They are next level disappointed. And I was like, I'd rather you just yell at me so we can just get it out. Like, please just yell at me.
But look, I mean, listen, you know, that's just the college life. If you're really not crazy then, you won't be normal now.
I agree.
Like, I feel like the kids who are really mature in college are now crazier than me. And like, I've gotten it all out of my system. I'm tired now. I'm old. I'm over it. I was like, I don't want to dress up for Halloween anymore, even though I dress like Marge Simpson, but that's a whole nother story. But you know, I was like, I'm not putting another sexy Halloween costume on.
Yeah, no.
I was like, I did that, done that in college. I was like, I'm over it. You just got to get it out of your system.
Yeah, there's no way I'm wearing, what's the tape? Duct tape dresses.
Duct tape.
Absolutely not.
I did that my freshman year, and when I took it off, my skin came off. I mean, like, and I was like, I'm over it.
I agree with you. I think I've gotten that so out of my system now. Like, even when I go to a bar and the floor is sticky, it reminds me of fraternity basements. I'm like, I got to get the hell out of this bar. Yeah. I'm not doing this.
When I go to bars here in Chicago, I'm wearing sneakers.
Yes.
And like an oversized sweater and baggy jeans. I was like, you think you'll ever catch me in a little skirt again here?
Oh my gosh, do you remember back in the day in college when we used to do that? We would literally wear like short dresses and boots and it's like 10 feet of snow outside.
Booties, like with the heels. And I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, and you're like, I don't need a coat. Like, I have to carry the coat all night if I take the coat with me.
Guys, I went out with my friends last weekend. I didn't wear a lick of makeup. Because I was all like, that. I was like, I'm just here for just one little drink.
I actually love that.
Yeah. When it's all out of your system and you've just done all of it, I just like, again, I don't care. I'm in that era where I'm like, I don't need to do it again. I'm too tired.
Yeah.
The effort was made and no effort now.
Yeah, especially because I think now we're taking care of ourselves and our bodies. So I feel like I don't need as much makeup too.
Oh, no. I think I'm just lazy. I think I've just gotten lazy.
I was like, not me being like, well, wholesomely, you just don't need a girlfriend.
You know, you're just embracing your natural beauty.
Glowing naturally. Look at you right now.
And I was like, no, I literally can't even get myself to do it anymore because I'm so lazy.
Okay, not to be too dramatic, but seasonal affective disorder is a real thing. Even if you don't personally experience the winter blues, there's no doubt you've experienced the winter blahs. It's just tough to get outside when the weather is harsh. You really have to come up with a good plan to entice you to leave your cozy home, but it is so worth it when you can enjoy a night out in the cold city. And if you want to dress up and be around people but not be outside for too long, there's nothing better than a night at the theater courtesy of TodayTix.
So Deepti and I have used Today Tix several times. We saw Drunk Shakespeare at the Lines Theater in Chicago, if you remember that, Deepti, and a live comedy show at the Laugh Factory. So Today Tix offers the best prices on tickets to shows both on and off Broadway for the winter season. Like, I'm sure I'll be going to some Christmas shows too with my family, like A Christmas Carol. And you can book a show in advance or be spontaneous with rush tickets available in the app.
So go to todaytix.com/outofthepods and use promo code outofthepods to get $20 off your first Today Tix purchase.
That's promo code outofthepods at todaytix, tix.com/outofthepods, todaytix.com/outofthepods. I'm so glad though we were crazy in college and we got all of that like wildness out of us, because imagine if we started filming just wanting to get we had all this wild energy to release.
Yes.
Like I would have gotten a Hannah at it, okay?
I was already wild to begin with, and you can kind of see glimpses of that in Mexico. Like, I'm so happy they didn't put in some of the drunken moments, but I hear you on that. Like, I feel like I needed my college experience so that now I'm a stable, like, wholesome girly.
Yeah. We're lazy.
Hey.
We don't try as hard anymore.
Yeah, I've been pretty sure I've worn black, like, every single episode.
I remember when our season came out, some people would call me a pick-me, and I was all like, I wish. I just don't have the energy to be one.
They're pick-me's for calling you a pick-me, because it takes one to know
But
one.
I was like, I wish I was a pick-me, because I would have dressed way better on our season. I would have done my makeup way better and my hair way better. But I'm too effing lazy.
I know.
Also on this podcast, too, people are like, are you a pick-me for talking about your dating life? I was like, if you saw the men I was dating, if I could put up pictures on our videos, okay?
The selection in Chicago is
I was like,
great.
You would know. Like, stories would make so much more sense, okay? Instead, you would say she's not a pick-me. She just doesn't have a picker. And also no standards.
I think about that often, where I think I might relinquish control to my parents and just be like, yes, I want the arranged marriage. You know me better than anybody else. And clearly, I don't know how to pick them. Seriously, if I think about it, I love a bad boy so much. Like, will I ever get married? Because how do you find a stable bad boy?
You don't.
Thank you. I think I'm like,
why do you like bad boys?
I just love people that are interesting, that are like a smart, intellectual bad boy.
What are bad boys? I actually don't know what a bad boy is. Who like
kind of go against society's rules a little bit. Who
like
think on their own.
Like criminally?
No, not criminally. Just teetering the line of criminal. I'm just kidding.
They have face tattoos.
Not a face tattoo, but tattoos. I don't think I could do a face tattoo.
I have a tattoo on my back.
Yeah. See, I love tattoos. Like, if a guy had an arm sleeve, I would be so into that.
Okay. Like, I get what you're saying. Like the stereotype of a bad boy. Yeah. Like when you watch the movies and they're like in a leather jacket.
I love somebody who rides a motorcycle. Like, that is my favorite thing of all time.
Is that why you liked Kyle? Because he rode a moped?
Yes, it was the closest thing I could get to. And then the guy I talked to after that legit rode a Harley, and I was like, yes, I'm into this. So that's where I'm struggling in life. Is,
you know what? You should go to Montana. There's a lot of men who is it drive motorcycles? No, ride motorcycles in Montana.
What is this?
And South Dakota.
They're not riding a motorcycle like this. They're riding it like this.
Oh, is there not a steering wheel on a motorcycle?
Natalie, what? A steering wheel is a car. A motorcycle has like gears like this.
I haven't seen a motorcycle in such a long time. For some reason, I thought a motorcycle had a little steering wheel at the top, so you turn it on and you like steer it. It goes.
That was funny.
No, I really thought that.
I just know my future husband will be a biker, so you can get a ride. That's not really dirty, but you know what I'm saying. He'll take you on it.
I'd be like, I'm good. I was like,
honestly, never mind.
Like, no,
scratch that. She would never.
I was like, too much dirt flying in my face on that. I was like, no thanks. It's like, I'm too old now.
You know, when we use the term
too much of a germaphobe, I was like, can't do it.
When we say yin and yang pod besties, we really mean it.
Yeah, like,
we're yin and yang.
I don't know what a good guy looks like, but all I want is a man who drives a Toyota. Like, just a suburban car.
Yep.
You know,
I like that.
He likes wearing collared shirts that are short sleeves, no tattoos. I want him to look weak. Like not weak, like
fragile.
He doesn't stick out, you know? Like, he could rob a place and no one even notices because he just goes in and out. Like, that's the type of guy I want to date.
That's so funny.
Have you noticed that? I'm kind of like that too, where you know how We are going on a lot of tangents here, but I was thinking about this. Like, one thing that's really great about being average looking is you could get away with so much. Like, you could get away with not paying that plastic bag fee at the grocery store, you know, the 7 cents.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'll accidentally just like grab a plastic bag.
Why do I feel like you're the type of person that brings bags with them? So
I absolutely
astonishing
do. But
to me.
sometimes I'll buy too much food that doesn't fit into my reusable bag that I brought with myself to the grocery store. So I'll have to buy a plastic bag. But sometimes I don't buy it. I just like kind of take the 7 cents.
Yeah.
The 7 cents bag. But I realized you can do that when you're average looking.
What do you mean?
Like, when you are average looking, I read about this somewhere.
What source?
I don't know. Some
I'm just
blog.
kidding. Tell me.
When you are average looking, life is so much easier.
Interesting.
Because, you know, when you see someone that is just like so conventionally beautiful, like you just notice them right away, like especially when they walk into a room, or let's say they walk into the grocery store, you just pay attention to that.
Yeah.
So you're just like looking at them. You know, like even when you see a good looking guy, you just like look at them a little bit longer.
Yeah. They have an aura about them.
Yeah. But then you pay attention to what they're doing. When you're average looking and someone looks at you but doesn't look again at you, you know, like it's just like...
You're just there. You're saying.
You get away with so much.
Okay, I was really concerned about the direction you were going with this because I'm like, please explain to me how this is a thing.
Like, you get away with things.
Okay.
You could dress however you want, but no one's going to look at you twice. So it's like, who cares?
You're totally right.
Wear what you want. Do what you want. No one's paying attention.
No one cares. That is a wholeheartedly me. Wow, you're so right.
I love it. And I know people are like, you're not average looking. Really? How about you say that to the people in the comment section of the Love is Blind Instagram page when our season came out? They're finally a cast that's of normal looking people you wouldn't even look twice at the doctor's office. And I was like,
me.
I was like, okay, well,
that is us. No, I mean, obviously we've heard of pretty privilege.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, wait, what do you mean there's average privilege?
No, really. I think it's so much better to be a conventionally average looking person. It is a superpower.
Interesting. Well, they do say that men get scared of women who are too beautiful and they don't approach them out. So maybe this logic can come into effect for average women.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like when we were walking home, Deepti and I, so like if we go to a bar a few blocks away from our apartment building, like sometimes it's not worth calling an Uber home, even though it's probably the safest option. But we're 3 blocks away. We're together. Like it's well-lit streets with other people. Like we're just going to walk home even though it's 10 p.m. at night.
10 p.m. is nothing.
Yeah. But we will act like crazy on the streets. And we're just like, I was like, who's going to take us? No one's going to kidnap us.
I just want to clarify that you guys know me by now. I feel like you know Natalie's the one acting crazy.
Yeah. I'll start making
She's like, hey, Deeps, walk like this.
All the entire 3 blocks.
I'm like, why are you walking like, I don't know. I don't even know the best way to describe it.
Like Shrek.
I was like, yeah,
like a dinosaur.
I was thinking.
Like I'll walk like a dinosaur home.
I don't know why I was thinking about Monsters Inc. Like I was thinking Sully or Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, no, for real. We are Sully and Mike Wazowski on our way home.
Who's who? How dare you?
No. I'll be Sully.
I'm pretty sure you're Mike Wazowski.
I don't know, my eyes
considering you're crazy walking.
Okay, I feel like we need to end this episode.
Yeah, we should probably.
Didi and I are fully sober recording this. I just wanted to let Pod Besties know.
Yeah, we had some tangents, but we had a lot of thoughts on today's episode.
I did want to ask you guys though. So the Ultimatum season 3 is coming out December 4th. Do you want us to recap it? Like we were planning on it, but we'd love to know your thoughts. Like, are you guys going to be watching it? What do you want to know? Do you want us to bring like former cast members on to recap it with us? Let us know. You could DM us on our Instagram page at Out of the Pods or comment on any of our content or YouTube videos.
And make sure you guys leave a review and subscribe.
See you next Monday.
Bye.